Be able to sit in a quiet room with just your thoughts and put the phone down and make sure you're not numbing yourself. Just sit with it, see what it's saying, and then, figure out a way to heal from it. If you have to hear your own voice in a meeting, you're suffocating somebody else's.
This to be the last time I pick up my kid. Not that anything crazy, but just like maybe they're too big. And many of the episodes that we're walking on autopilot.
Yeah.
And when you click into, I'm now taking the wheel, you then can make things a little bit more precious.
We can build companies and we can make money, but can we build the life that we actually want to live?
We've put all of our time and effort into the business and the work and the career, and we're not using the same tools and resources for our life.
If you're going to go out and help somebody, do it out of the kindness of your heart, not to decorate your ego with something. Don't just post it on Instagram. Look what I did.
This is the Real SOP, a space for leaders, dreamers, and doers who want to live and lead from peace, not pressure. This is the sole operating procedure. Welcome home.
You know, I'm still learning the difference between calm governance and controlled detachment.
Okay.
That is something that I wanted to just put out there. So how do you know if your calm is peace versus you're just delaying it?
So if you're avoiding.
Maybe avoidance.
Yeah, so I guess what I would say is if you're calm and you are not distracted, if you're able to sit in this chair and not be lost in TikTok or some social media app, not drunk, numbing yourself, I think you'll know whether or not you're finding a peaceful place or if you're distracting yourself. Because if you're trying to accomplish something in the world, business, elite athlete status, competition, whatever it is, if you're trying to detach from that for a minute and all you're doing is numbing yourself, I would argue you're not detaching from anything. All you're doing is avoiding the noise that is trying to speak to you. Your subconscious mind is constantly trying to protect you and speak to you in a way that can be helpful, but for most people, it feels like anxiety and depression and, pain. So we run from it.
Yeah. Do you think that's how the majority of people
I do.
are doing?
I think that's the healthy majority. Yep.
So how do you combat that?
Well, you got to turn your focus inward. Do some work. Try to get familiar with what your body is saying. Sit in the uncomfortable moments by yourself. Be able to sit in a quiet room with just your thoughts and put the phone down and make sure you're not numbing yourself. Just sit with it, see what it's saying, and then, figure out a way to heal from it. Heal from whatever it is that your body is trying to tell you. If you listen the right way, your body might tell you, you need to stop eating what you're eating. It might be telling you that you're still carrying around luggage from your past where you've not forgiven somebody. If you listen, your body's going to tell you what you need to do to heal.
Throw you another curveball.
All right.
What's the difference between a driven man versus a desperate man?
Driven versus desperate. I would say driven is a response out of a healthy place, and a desperate one is somebody who's taking action out of fear.
Proactive versus reactive, make it?
Yeah. One is just reacting and doing whatever they can to survive, and the other one is calmly making a decision to move in a direction methodically and intelligently.
Where's the line there?
I guess it all goes back to that same noise, whether or not we're able to quiet the noise in our head and come from a place of safety. When I say a place of safety, I'm talking about how our physical system is reacting to whatever it is we got going on. Because our body is constantly pushing us into a full fire alarm. Threat detection is constant. Our brain is doing one of two things. One, it's either telling us we're terrible, we're unworthy, we're unlovable, we're stupid, or it's saying, don't sit right here in this quiet moment and enjoy whatever is happening in this present moment, because if you do, you're going to hear those voices I just talked about. And so what the subconscious mind does is it learns to move over here. All right, let's go cut the grass. All right, let's go do this. Let's go do that. Let's go watch that TV show. Let's distract the mind anywhere other than to sit here and listen to what the subconscious mind is trying to tell it. It's scary, and it can be extremely challenging to sit and listen to what is going on inside of us.
Mm-hmm. What if you're driven and you are grounded and you know what you want, and then something happens that you is not aligned with what you think should happen? How do you handle that without desperation or without, how do you be strategic?
Well, you just have to come from a place because so there's a default mode network that happens in our brain. Whenever we are having fearful negative thoughts, the default mode network kicks on and it starts ruminating about whatever the problem is. It starts scanning for threats. It starts going. And when that happens, we literally become dumber. Our emotional intelligence drops, our actual intelligence drops, and now you're in a difficult situation and you're trying to solve a problem using 40% or 60% of your actual ability to solve the problem. Your intelligence has been reduced drastically and you're trying to solve a complex problem. So what I would say is sleep on the problem. Allow yourself to wake up and let that emotion drive. That's probably the easiest way for somebody who's not using some of the tools that we talk about or that I use and teach other folks to use. But if you can use some breathwork tools and you can use some manual tools to pull yourself into the present moment, calm the system down to where the system says, oh, wait a minute, there's not a problem in the world right now because you flipped off the default mode network. Your system's now operating at its optimum level. Now, when you process the situation and you assess what's going on, you're going to have a much better chance of solving a problem in real time. And so my advice would be teach yourself how to regulate your system, how to turn off that fire alarm. Because if the alarm started going off in here right now, fire alarm started going off, we're going to have a hard time completing this podcast. We're going to have to get up and go turn that alarm off. That's the same way it would be if you're trying to solve a problem under a heightened state of emotion. But there's so much going on. There's so much elevated emotion that we're not able to think properly.
That is something that my mother has always told me is if you got a complex situation, to take the emotion out of it, sleep on it.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a big thing. If you're feeling the same way, you probably know the answer.
Yeah.
But you're saying that if you take some tools that you've equipped people with, that you can shorten that cycle
Within 5 minutes.
to regulate?
Depending on how big the situation is. Obviously, if somebody's health if your kid just got hurt, it's going to be harder to calm yourself down in that quick moment. But a business decision, you lost a client, somebody's pissed, whatever, a business decision, we should all be able to calm ourselves down within 10 to 15 minutes of using manual tools, whether it's controlling your breath, just pausing and allowing your brain to focus on what you're grateful for 10 minutes. And it sounds like it's kind of corny. Okay, I'm going to say what I'm grateful for. That's going to solve my problems. No. When you say what you're grateful for, the switch in your head that is controlled by the content of your thoughts is now being fed loving, compassionate thoughts. And after 2 minutes, that switch in your head gets switched off. And after 10 minutes of being in that state, you're now drug-induced happy versus where you were 10 minutes ago, drug-induced fearful state. You flip the alarm switch off, and now you've actually given yourself enough extra oxytocin to where you're going to stay calm and regulated for a minute, and you'll actually be able to calm down and think through the situation that you're dealing with.
So you've got some resources and tools to calm yourself down to enhance a strategic decision.
Yes.
Do you do that every day as a position of power in how you handle things?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I take some of your tools by priming my day. I'm in the car for 40 minutes every morning. I am priming myself for my day in that car. I'm doing God joy.
Yeah.
I'm doing forms of meditation while I'm driving with my eyes open. Very safe to do. But by the time I get to work, I'm buzzing with energy and I'm primed. Whatever hits me, I'm going to be in a primed state to be able to deal with it.
That's great. Let's dive deeper into that.
Okay.
I've got a few other just random thoughts. So I've read that the person who has the most power in the room is the calmest. Have you heard anything?
I have been that. Yeah.
So how do you amplify that? Because it's kind of contradictory with showing ambition versus not being noisy.
So it's ego. When you're sitting down there and you know the answer and you can't control yourself by giving that answer without giving that answer, like you've just let everybody know that you have to tell, hey, look, teacher. Mm-hmm. The one who's calm, it can just sit there and allow the answers to free flow until it comes to a point where everybody doesn't have an answer. And then if you have the answer, you speak up. It does two things. It allows everybody to elevate themselves, to be able to put an answer out there, be part of the conversation, instead of the smartest guy in the room answering every question and everybody else just sitting there and listening to them. That's not a leader. That's not somebody who's elevating somebody else, allowing everybody else to think creatively. If you have to hear your own voice in a meeting, you're suffocating somebody else's. When I realized this, as I went through my break about 7 years ago, I realized that I had made so many mistakes. And one of the ones was doing exactly what we're talking about. Whenever I had an answer, I would say it. Whenever I had an answer, I would say it. And I got given the advice, I think through a yogi, that to sit and listen and be as quiet as I can and allow the answers to develop in the room. And if that answer doesn't show up, then add to it. Then push somebody to it. But don't just give the answer just because I know it. And I found myself sitting in hour-long meetings and not saying anything because the answers were already there. I wasn't the only one that knew them. I was just suffocating everybody else's voice. And so it elevated everyone else in that room to start, taking charge, to become the next leader, to be somebody who had confidence in themselves enough to speak up in these meetings. And I wasn't suffocating their voice anymore.
I think that's a great point. You're also seeing how your team responds if they know the answer or not.
Yeah,
Maybe they can shed a light of something that you didn't even think about,
absolutely.
which I've seen many times.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of these young folks that we got around here, man, they're smarter than I am. And I just, had that ambition that you talked about earlier. I wanted to let them know that I knew what I was talking about to help them, but I wasn't helping them.
So it's more of like delayed gratification.
Yeah. And it's powerful.
Yeah.
And I see why you should make that statement. The quiet guy in the room. Another statement that's been made is the quietest person in the room is the most intelligent. Because you only speak when you have to. And then when you do speak, it carries so much more weight. If I talk for 45 minutes in an hour-long meeting, people are going to get tired of hearing my voice. But if I speak for 3 minutes in an hour-long meeting, that voice carries so much more weight.
Man, I'll give a great parenting example there. I won't use myself, but I'll use my mom and my stepdad. But, my mom was always the one that was talking, telling us, and we heard, we understand. But anytime that my stepdad said something, it was like, oh, he could say a song.
Yeah.
Like a whisper to make you pussy. And you're like, what did he say? And then it just speaks volumes.
Yeah. Yeah. It carries and it lands. And that's what we want. You allow everybody to elevate their confidence, their ability to think, be actively a part of whatever's happening, but then also allow your opinions and your authority to land a lot harder.
What if you've got someone who thinks that they're doing that and they're a leader, but they are not vocalizing authority to their team, and they're more like they're coming off as like they let them do whatever they want, or they don't speak up enough to, they don't want to, they avoid confrontation. How do you control someone who is trying to take those principles, but is more of an introvert?
So what I would say is, no matter who you are, if you're in a leadership position, you have to be able to have uncomfortable, honest conversations. And so you can do that, but when there's a standard at the company that's been articulated to everyone and things start to veer, you have to be able to step up. Even if it's not in that meeting, maybe it's right after the meeting, you call in Johnny. All right, Johnny, you said this, and this in the meeting. I didn't want to call you out in front of everybody, but that's not our standard. That's not how we operate.
Skip to this.
As a leader, you have to have difficult conversations in real time. You can't let it linger, because if somebody's getting out of whack and somebody's not doing their job, and you as the leader is witnessing that and not taking ownership of it, Jason Jarrett said, I always said, and I learned this, I think he learned it from his dad, but the seeds of failure are planted in the good times. And that would be a scenario that, those are seeds being planted. If you're allowing somebody to start veering from the standard that the company has because you want to let somebody else talk and you don't want to demean them in a meeting or whatever, like, you just planted a seed that will potentially lead the company moving in a negative direction.
I've read a thing that says you recognize positive efforts publicly, and then you reprimand negative efforts behind closed doors.
Yeah. I think that's very important, especially when you got somebody who's trying hard, it is a little bit, socially awkward. You don't want to call them out in the middle of the meeting. But I'll be honest, if you got a room full of people who have been cast in through the fire, right?
Bunch of leaders.
A bunch of leaders that have been put through the fire. They've been tested. You should be able to say whatever in the middle of that meeting.
Yeah.
And they just bounce back to it. And to be able to be so honest all the time, that's a company that's going to thrive. When it doesn't matter what is going on, you could say, all right, guys, this is our standard, and go. And like in the middle of the meeting, and honestly, in our 6 o'clock site meetings, that's what I do. Like, guys, no,
You hold the account.
I hold them accountable. I won't say much, but when I hear something going off, that's when I'll speak up. Like, hey, this is where we're at. And a lot of times I'll do that, but I'll direct it at the main leaders in the room and make sure that the younger ones are listening. Because if I direct it towards Justin or somebody in that meeting, the younger ones go, oh, okay. Justin got slightly off track there, but Justin, he doesn't take any offense to it. He's a loyal soldier he has just as much vested interest as the company doing well. So when he receives that, he's like, hell yeah, you're right. Thank you for telling me. Like, there's zero offense taken. And when you have people like that, now all of a sudden your company is something different when you don't have to worry about speaking. You can just speak the truth and rock on.
I wish that was the case in every company.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. And every one of those companies would be extremely successful.
I feel that some of the times that you're having conflicting power trips, where you are debating on, should I say something and speak up and probably cause more confrontation because of a certain stance, or do I just delay this? Or the approach I'd say, delay it until I get my mind right, and then I'll come back to it.
Yeah. Some conversations can be difficult, and you need to make sure that you approach them the right way. But at the end of the day, honesty is always going to get you. The only thing that matters in a successful company is the health of the company, right? The stability of the company. And it means part of that is treating people well. That's the health of the company. If you don't treat the people well, the people are the company. So delivering a message is extremely important, right? But at the same time, the company demands honesty in order to achieve the things you need to achieve, to hold the standards that have been set. If there's not a certain level of honesty, it's going to struggle in some areas.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'll let you take the next topic.
All right. So I got a topic here that is on this thing. When you sent me the notes for this show, I was like, this is a tough one because I don't know necessarily the answer to it. When an athlete or a high performing business owner that is running on fuel, right? Fuel, and what drives them is fear of failure, is the negative things that I talk about in my program. Some people are driven from negative things that have happened to them in their life. Fear of failure, they think they're not good enough, so it pushes them to work even harder than everyone else. You're going to fail at your company, so you get up earlier than everyone else because that negative voice in your ear is telling you you're going to fail, so you get up even earlier than everyone else. And as I look around and I see people, living their lives, and, you could make $1 billion and be miserable, right? A lot of that, like we talked about at the beginning of the show, is basically, it's unhealthy at some level. You should be able to break away from your work and be happy, right? You should be able to, hey, I've been working my butt off, and now I'm going to take a week's vacation and enjoy the week, be able to disconnect. And if you can't, it's probably not, whatever level you're working, it's probably not mentally healthy. You're doing it to distract yourself from the pain that is sitting inside you. There's a lot of people who have been extremely successful, and their success levels, I think, are driven from severe pain. And that's a dichotomy there.
It is because it's a, like you said, it's a fear, but it's an external motivation. Well, I guess you could already.
Yeah, because it's distracting you from what's inside of you, and you're thinking that you're going to solve that problem by working your butt off. But does it? Does it solve the problem? Or does it make you a bunch of money, make you successful?
Well, yeah, I guess you're looking at the outcome of it, which is your ego and which is driven. If I had this, I will then get this. And every successful person that I've read says that that's not the answer.
No. That was my breaking point. Was it? Yeah, my breaking point was I thought I was going to go achieve the next thing that was going to make me happy. And I'm sitting there at 45 years old. I got money. I got the house. I got the wife, the kids are healthy. I got everything. The next thing in my life is retirement. And I'm as miserable as I've ever been. It's not, there's nothing on the outside that's going to truly make us happy. You can distract, you can numb, but ultimately you're not going to find happiness.
So what does give you, obviously happiness seems to be subjective to the person.
That is a great point.
So, but what, just by having peace in the present day? I mean, what makes you the stoic executive that can revert all of this back to us so that we can use these skills to apply to climb up the ladder?
I don't like labels, but I like that one. That's the kids that do. Look at that. And so I guess what I would say is our ability to bust our ass and go out into the world and build something, make money, and create something that's amazing. A company, wealth, freedom, all these things that release us from some of the ties that the average person has. Those are all amazing things. But if you get to that point and you can't just sit and be happy, you have to go buy a new car, you have to go buy your third house, you have to
Little things.
yeah, like it doesn't stop there. You just start spending money to fill another void. You start using another tool to fill that void. I think you'll find out really quickly that all the hard work that you did to build your company didn't truly fill a void. And every religion on the planet talks about this. Buddhism talks about it. It's not a religion, but everybody points to one thing. And to answer your question, there's multiple answers, but one of the major ones is if you're not living in service of others, you're not truly going to be able to find peace. So what I would say to anybody who's being successful and you've built the things and you've made the money and you have the houses and whatever it is that you're trying to do that you think is going to make you happy and you're not, even before you turn your focus inward, figure out something that pulls on your heartstrings and dedicate your time and your money towards a cause to help somebody else. And I think that will start to fill your cup up. But ultimately, what is going to fill your cup up is finding self-worth and self-love inside you by getting rid of the voices that are chasing you, the things that are making you miserable, putting your system on alarm constantly. That's what's going to bring you peace. When you turn those inner alarms off and you just sit here and your body is glowing with energy from the inside out and you just smile for no reason, it doesn't matter what's happening right now. You're just happy for no reason because life is beautiful.
I think that that's great response. But you've entered into a, like you said, dichotomy of success. With success, if you've got a driven, motivated individual, what sacrifices are they giving up in order to do that?
Oh man, everything. Time with their kids, their spouse, their parents. I keep hearing these motivational things about, when you start looking at life in terms, I'm 50 years old, 52. Let's just say I'm going to live till I'm 77 years old. It means I got 25 more Christmases. And, my mom is 70 years old. And so she might have 5 more Christmases. So interesting perspective. When you start looking at how I'm going to spend my time,
You make it worth it.
yeah, you start to look at things in a different perspective when you look at life as not infinite. When you look at it, there's a deadline on things and what really matters to you. And you start pushing your time towards the things that truly matter, the connections with people, your family, your friends. That's the things that matter. All these young kids that are growing up, like they're going through these trying times, whether they're in elementary school, going into junior high, or going into high school, or they're getting out of high school, going into college, or going straight to a job. These are all very emotionally challenging moments for young people.
Milestones.
Yeah, and as a leader, somebody who's walked the path, you can help them.
Mm-hmm.
You could be there for them. And these are your family. This is your family. This is your friends. And if you're in the office, after you've already achieved everything you could possibly achieve, and you're missing out on these moments with these people, you're missing out on that connection that you could have by keeping up with them, keeping in touch with them, being that uncle that just says, hey, just checking on you, making sure you're all right. If you need anything, I love you. Connecting with people in a way that is meaningful. When you start to do those things, when you connect with your family, you connect with strangers in a helping way, people in need, that starts to put a level of substance underneath you that's amazing. And that's just straight effort. That you use the same determination that you did to build your company and start putting it into that. And that's not doing any real work on the inside. And that will start filling you up and making you feel better. Those are action items you could take without turning and facing the demons inside. Because most people, let's face it, they don't want to do that.
Right.
And that's okay. But if you're suffering, you can still do some of these other things.
That's beautiful. It makes you think about the perspective of, even if it's going to a soccer game, it's like, well, how many of these without having the fear in at the end of life being the main reason, but just like, yeah, this is a milestone that, I hope we do this again, or this could be the last time.
Yeah.
This could be the last time I pick up my kid. Not that anything crazy, but just like maybe they're too big,
Yeah.
that's really interesting.
Yeah.
And it makes the moments that you have with them more, just like the whole Christmas thing you were saying. Like, what if this is the last Christmas you spend with your mom? Or if it was me, I would make sure I make a better dish.
When you think about it in terms of, I only heard a few more of these,
Yeah.
it starts to have a little more meaning. I have an app on my phone. It's called Daily Death. And you're like, damn, that's pretty morbid. But if you don't give conscious thought to death, life doesn't carry the same meaning.
Mm-hmm.
If we walk through life like we're going to live forever, man, food doesn't taste as good.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you stop and you put an expiration date on everything and you stop and say, you know what, tomorrow is promised to no one. I might not wake up tomorrow. What am I going to do tonight?
I'm not going to wait in this line, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I got to go home, man. I want to have my life with my kids, and I'm going to celebrate right now when I go home. Make walking through the door when you go home a celebration.
Right.
Don't hang your head. You don't know how many more of these you're going to get.
I think that's the biggest part is realizing, like you said in many of the episodes, that we're walking on autopilot.
Yeah.
And when you click into, I'm now taking the wheel, you then can make things a little bit more precious.
Yeah.
But hopefully you don't do it in the negative way to be like, look, I'm not, I need my food now because life's short,
Yeah, I'm not saying cash in your 401k and go to Vegas for a week. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying take a deep breath and enjoy this moment right here. It's beautiful.
Be present in the short term, but also play the long term.
Yeah.
The finances, psychology of money. That's another thing too. I'm talking about behaviors and everything. We can get into another podcast. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. I love some of the TikToks that you send me because some of them are really cool. One of you sent me, it fits this topic. There's a guy on there that's talking about the most intelligent people in the world.
Yeah.
They use their intelligence to create the most amazing life that they want to live.
Yep, the life blueprint.
Yep. And that has stuck with me. That is extremely powerful. We can all run around here and we can build companies and we can make money, but can we build the life that we actually want to live?
I think that I missed that. I think that we've put all of our time and effort into the business and the work and the career, and we're not using the same tools and resources for our life.
Yeah.
And I can say that from experience.
Yeah.
I need to be having AI kind of help me automate when to pay my bills, or, just, hey, send a text,
Yeah.
it's birthday, or whatever. I'm bad.
Yeah. Set your goals. Yeah. I have an Excel spreadsheet that has probably 20, 25 tabs on it. And it's this. Like, this is what I want to do. This is my goals for today. This is my goals for the next year. This is for the next 3 years, 5 years. And then I got every other tab in there. What am I going to eat? What is my diet supposed to look like? Even if I don't live up to it. But this is what I want. This is my goal. And I start laying out all of these priorities. I even went as far as like saying, hey, I need to reach out to so-and-so every 6 months. It's been 2 years and I ain't talked to them, and they used to live in my house. And it's like, I shouldn't let these relationships go by, but I get lost on autopilot. And now this relationship is dwindling. I don't even know this person that I used to, call a very intimate family. And now I don't have a super tight relationship with them anymore because life has just happened. That's what we all say, right? Life
Just happens. We're so busy.
Yeah, but life can happen how you want it if you put focus to the things that truly matter. Just sending a text that pulls you that much closer. Hey, just thinking about your day. Love you. Hope everything's okay. Let me know if you need me. Go on. Now they know you still love them. That connection is still there. You're not lost anything. Maybe you can figure out a way to connect and actually meet up, dinner, weekend, whatever. It just keeps all those buckets full.
Mm-hmm.
Matthew McConaughey has one of the greatest college commencement speeches ever. And he talks about buckets. If you get on YouTube, look at
Family bucket, friend bucket.
Yep.
Yeah.
Family, like your spouse, your friends, your career. And if you focus too much on any one of those buckets, the other buckets are going to get depleted and your life is going to be out of balance. And it's extremely accurate. And it fits very well with this conversation we're having. But you have to know what your buckets are. And you have to start paying attention to all of them on a random basis, like once a month, once a week, whatever. I don't know what your frequency is, but pay attention to all the buckets and take stock in all of them. Be aware of, oh man, I hadn't talked to my friends in 2 months. Like, oh wow, like I need to reach out to them. I hadn't talked to my family in this much time. I've been so locked up with my wife and my job that I've been blocking everybody else out. You're not going to be happy under those circumstances.
I believe the buckets were family, friends, career, health.
Yeah.
And there could be one that I'm missing, but I know that those were the main 4.
Yeah, those are the main 4 that he was talking about. But I would argue that you could make 50 buckets or 2.
Right.
Whatever it is that fills you up, that, that it's important. If one of those buckets were to get low because you're not paying attention, well, that's another bucket, And that goes back to creating a life that you're using your intelligence to create.
So if you could do that, how would you start your blueprint?
I mean, honestly, I think I have been trying to do that for a while. One of the things I get so many young family members that I made connections with over the years, and as they've grown up and they're building families, and there's a distance from us, and so I started making a list. If I reach out to one, I'm reaching out to 5 now. If I reach out to this person, I'm reaching out to 5 other people. If I think about one in this group, I'm hitting all of them, and it's starting to pull some of these friends and some of these relationships back, and it makes me feel good. It fills up my soul inside that I know that they're okay, that they know that I love them, that it means a lot to me.
Yeah.
And it's nice when I get a random text back from them, There's a lot of folks out there that'll say, you only give energy to those that give energy to you, right? Friends, family, whoever. And so be that person that is giving energy. You have to consciously think about these things, because when we're caught up in work and family and especially if you got young kids and you're starting a business or you're just working on your career, and I mean, life
In this loss.
Oh man, it's a lot. It's a lot going on.
So you gotta have that work-life balance.
Yeah. It's almost like you just almost got to put it in a spreadsheet. It's like, oh, I'm going to put all my heart and soul in a spreadsheet to make sure I'm loving people the right way. Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. So you don't mess up.
Yeah.
Because we can get put on autopilot, and, you can make a mistake.
It's some type of accountability.
Yeah, we're just a reminder. Because when I go for a long time and I forget, well, shit, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry I talked to you in a year. That's not your fault. That's mine. And I don't want to feel that way. So if I could build a spreadsheet or do something to help me keep my priorities, whatever my priorities are, keep them in line and make sure that I'm not forgetting something. Because walking around all the time trying to remember, if you're forgetting something all the time, that right there is going to make you miserable.
You can't, and I've failed this method, like I don't need a spreadsheet to let me know when I need to pay something. And then I'm not on auto pay, and then I'm like, crap, didn't do it.
Yeah.
Something came up randomly. I do good for a few months, and then I'm like, dang it, I missed it.
Yeah.
I like the autonomy. Like, that's why I build systems. Like, honestly, I think it's because I'm naturally lazy, or I naturally just want things to do something for me. And so I want to log in, and then it tells me, I'm like, oh yeah, gotta do that.
I would make the argument that that's human nature is miserable because we're thinking about the future. When our brain is time traveling, it makes us miserable. So if we're constantly thinking about what we're forgetting about from the past or the future, now that's bringing more pain. So when you could once a month have a reminder that pulls you in to thinking about all these things in the future, you can methodically go through the list, and now I don't have to think about it again for a month. Man, that's extremely healthy.
Yeah. And think about the energy you're saving.
Yes.
I mean, I'm doing that without even thinking about it, because I hate when I don't know what I need to get at the grocery store. So I make sure that I have a list. It's a shared list. And then if I mark it off because I bought it, it's still down there. So I can then go look and say, oh yeah, milk, that's probably something I need to get, even though we didn't talk about it or think about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I try to do that in so many ways, because I don't want to spend the brain energy on these repetitive things that I'm doing every single month, so that I could use that towards something else, or for a greater good, or for somebody else.
Yeah, that stress of, oh, did I forget something? Or, oh, did I forget to call this person? Or at work, did I forget to do that thing, send that email, submit that job proposal, whatever. Like, that's stress. That's all stress. And anything we could do to organize our life, prep it in a way that quiets the noise, That's always going to be a plus.
Absolutely. Siri's been a big part of that too.
Yeah.
Hey, remind me to send this email, or
Yeah.
hey, remind me to touch base with this person.
Yeah. When we were growing, my previous job and this one, when I started getting into my problem solving mind and started taking advantage of it at work, getting in environments where I could take advantage of it, I'd get all these ideas and they would run 1,000,000 miles an hour and I couldn't sleep at night.
Mm-hmm.
And the greatest thing that helped me start sleeping was a pad and a pen next to my bed. And once I got those thoughts going, I would just roll over, write all those ideas down, put it down, and then I could go right to sleep. But if I didn't write it down, I would have to keep thinking because I wanted to hold on to it so bad for the next day. Well, as soon as I wrote it down, I didn't have to try to hold on to it anymore. It's on the paper and I could just go to bed.
That's the thing I do with my kids, with at least visualizing throwing something away. When they come up with something that's fear, they want to, what do they do with it? They can linger, they can think about it. I'm like, hey, just take that and throw that away.
Yeah.
Like, it's in the trash can now. You don't got to think about it.
Yeah.
And they would literally just start. And I'm like, dang, make sure you recycle. That's a pot.
That's also for a young kid to be able to start processing that.
Yeah.
Because you can just throw it away if you start to realize that your thoughts are things, not part of you. When you teach your kid to throw a thought away, like, oh, that's not mine. And that's a lesson we all need to learn. That's extremely powerful.
Yeah. Yep. We got to do any more of that. Let me know.
That's where it's at. Getting separation from our thoughts so they don't just drag us around, whether it's drag us into the fear bucket or just literally drag us around from task to task, from distraction to distraction, just to keep us from sitting with the negative emotions that we feel.
So you think priming your day gives you the energy to do other things?
Absolutely. When you start your day, and I actually read this thing on Nikola Tesla, he basically says that the last 10 minutes before you go to bed is the most important 10 minutes for your next day. His secret was that if whatever your thought is, right before you go to bed, that's the first thought you have when you wake up. And so if you prime your morning by going to sleep with compassionate, loving thoughts, or like in his case, he would try to think up inventions or whatever he was working on. And if you can prime your day to where when you go to bed, you're having like, I'm gonna have the best dang day tomorrow. This is gonna be amazing. I can't wait to wake up. When you wake up, you're gonna feel some of that. And that's pretty cool because I've been trying to do it and it works. It gets you up out of bed a little bit with a little bit more of a pep in your step. And that mental pep is priming your day. Now everything becomes easier. But if you woke up, if you went to bed and you like, man, I gotta go to work. I got this meeting I don't want to go to. I'm prepping all week and it's so dumb. Like, how are you going to feel when you wake up? You're going to be in the same spot when you're getting out of bed. Like, your day's going to be miserable. Like, happiness is a choice. And so we need to make that choice and priming your day. Now all of a sudden you jump up, you're ready, you got energy, and you're going. Regardless of that meeting's going to take an hour. Well, you got the whole rest of the day before and after that meeting. Even if that meeting does suck, so what? Like, don't let the rest of your day be ruined by that one meeting. You can meet the love of your life tomorrow, right after that meeting. You never know.
Right.
You can meet somebody who's going to help your business, or you can meet somebody that is going to teach you something that you never knew, or just whatever. Like, life can be amazing if you stay open to it. You just have to make that choice to do so.
Yeah, there's a lot of scientific studies about the alpha brain state and how you can kind of make that a narrative for the next day.
Yeah.
And if you can reframe it at the same time, instead of like, oh, that meeting, it's like, actually, I'm going to crush that meeting because I've got all this prep and all this stuff. I got nothing to worry about. And then that's the attitude you wake up with.
Yeah.
That's huge.
John Jones, one of the baddest dudes on the planet, MMA champion, heavyweight division. He started when he was 18 years old. He started imagining his fights, imagining the outcome of them, and producing his own outcomes. And before he would fight somebody, he would learn the thing, watch videos on them, and then he would just imagine reacting to every one of their moves and reacting in the middle of the fight in a positive way and seeing himself being victorious at the end of every fight. And he attributes all of his success to, of course, hard work, but
The
mastering his mind. Yeah.
Mastering your mind.
Yeah. He feels like he's won the fight before he ever stepped in it. He walks in, he already believes this is already over. You get your ass 27 times last night. It's just, the mind is extremely powerful and the body is going to naturally react based off of the mind's beliefs.
Right. Because it can't tell if it's real or fake.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Doesn't know the difference between real or imagined. And well, you might as well imagine the most amazing things that you can. Joe Dispenza is one of the greatest holistic healers that there is today. And he heals people, the documented cases of healing people for cancer and back injuries. He healed himself from a spinal injury that he was told he would never walk again. And he does it by imagining that you're already healthy and just living in a state of gratitude for being healthy right now. And then your body starts to respond in that way because your body thinks it's healthy because you're imagining it, but you have to go deep into it. And he teaches these deep meditations where you go into these states of mind where you're in an altered state to where you truly believe it. And then you wake up and you carry that to the next day, and then you do it again and you do it again. And over time, your body starts to respond and heal you to bring you back to the state that you already know yourself to be in. And that's the key part of it, is you're imagining it as if it's already happening right now. And so the body thinks that's the way it is right now. I need to be aligned with that feeling.
And then when you tie that emotional state into it, it amplifies all of that and kind of gets into that the brain heart coherence of it all, to where you're just it's inevitable. It's going to happen.
Yeah, your body's going to respond to the reality that you create, whether it's in the physical world or in the mental. So you have the ability to do it mentally.
Might as well, if you
have fun with it.
Trick yourself into being sick, you can trick yourself into being healthy.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
It's the placebo effect. That's actually the name of his book, The Placebo. It's not a trick. It's reality. That's how our brain works. That's why some of the people that gave an aspirin still got healthy, because they thought, they believed it. They tricked their mind into believing it, and then voila, they got better.
Yeah, I think I can't remember the exact staging, but that your thoughts become feelings, your feelings become action, your action becomes your lifestyle, and how you influence it. Yeah. It's crazy. There's so much that we think we know, but then there's just like the supernatural stuff that we're just like, dude, this is nuts.
And it's all evolving so fast. AI is evolving crazy fast, but so is the spiritual world connecting with science. There's so many things that are happening right now. The double slit experiment, where consciousness changes the way light reflects onto a wall. If you're watching it, there's only 2 lines. When you stop watching it, there becomes 3. What? Our consciousness is physically changing the way light reflects? Like, just because we're present, somebody is watching it, it's now reflecting differently? It just changes the dynamics of what science thinks that it knows. And, I'm not sitting back here saying that, science doesn't matter and we shouldn't listen to science. Of course we should listen to science, and the science does matter. But I think we should be keeping an open mind.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. We don't know everything. There's a supernatural power that can influence things until it's ready to let us know about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like that saying, like, if you hear a tree fall in the forest, like, does it make a sound if no one's there? I don't know.
Nobody knows. Apparently, light doesn't reflect the same way if we're not there.
Right, yeah. And I think they figured out light was in waves or something along those lines as well. I don't know too much about the what is that science?
I don't know the science of light.
Well, just the double slit.
The double slit experiment.
Yeah, it's not molecular biology. It's
I don't know. I don't know. I know the science is coming along really fast, and it is catching up, and it's been pretty cool for me, because as I've gone on my journey, I leaned on a lot of yogis and a lot of mystics and Buddhism, and a lot of what they have been practicing for 2,500 years is actively getting proven right now through science. It's pretty cool.
The supernatural stuff.
Yeah. Our ability so that they've hooked up monitors to the body and projecting how far we could project a signal. And when you could slow your breath down through breath work, what happens is your heart rate will slow down. And when your heart rate starts to slow down, your brain beats 3 times as fast. And if you will do it for about 10 to 15 minutes, it takes me about 15 to 20 minutes, but it used to happen faster. But over time, I guess it's taken me a little longer. But then my brain, the rate at which my brain will pulse, which is 3 times faster than my heart at a normal beat, it will slow down to the same rate as my heart. And when they both get in alignment, that heart-brain coherence that you just spoke about, they start to beat. And it feels amazing inside. It feels like you just got really big. It feels like your body is expanding and you don't understand it. And it's kind of a weird feeling. But they've proven in that state that you're emitting a signal now that will stretch all the way around the planet. And that's pretty amazing that we can put ourselves in an altered state that creates that type of capability. And even though I don't know what to do with it, I don't know what I'm broadcasting, I have no idea what I'm doing with it. Yeah, but that it's pretty amazing. And you can physically feel it in that state. You kind of drop into a weird state and you're hyper focused on your breath and your heart rate, and you're keeping it all kind of in line, and it takes a little while to be able to do it, but it's an altered state that just lets you know that there's just way more going on the inside than we've ever been told.
It's quantum physics was what I was trying to think of.
Yeah, there you go. Quantum physics. Yeah.
And that's if anything from the little that I do know about it is the little world of molecular and small things. It kind of justifies the big world and the universe and all the things that is there, and how it all
mimics itself.
Yeah.
You take the smallest particles in our body and put it under a radar or a microphone or a microscope, and they have some that'll show energy, and you would take that image and then shine out into the universe and use the same electrical image, and it looks the exact same. You can't even tell the difference between the two. It's like all these things are
like a nebula, you know?
Yeah. Like the universe is using the same structure throughout it. So we don't know what's going on.
No, and it just shows that it's so micro compared to the big wonders of the universe.
Yeah.
You know, but life is short, and we need to create a legacy for our family and stuff. So be in the present moment to help somebody to maybe have a shortcut in life in certain areas.
Yeah.
Might be justification enough.
Yeah.
Especially the kids and, friends and family around us.
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal. Anybody we're talking about business leaders and successful people, if you're capable of building a big business, then you're capable of helping others.
Mm-hmm.
That would be my advice to anybody, is just pay it all forward, man. You can't take it with you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
They don't build your casket big enough to take your money with you, because it ain't going to do you any good.
Yeah.
So just, pay it forward. That's going to fill your cup.
Yeah. That's beautiful. Is there any other closing statements that you have? I mean, that was a hard one to eat.
No, I don't have any, man. My heart goes out. I kind of had a sad moment as I'm sitting there, just thinking about business owners who are working their ass off, and then they just don't know what to do with the success once they've got it. Mm-hmm. And I know that because, although I'm not a business owner, I work for Jason Jarrett of Jarrett Companies, but you could strive for everything that you want, achieve it, and then be stuck in a place where you're feeling helpless because you've achieved everything in life and you don't know what to do now. And that's a scary place to be. But I promise you, if you turn your focus inward, you'll be amazed with the answers you get.
And it takes those experiences for you to, it's kind of sculpted the person that you are today. But yeah, not losing sight of the fact that you can help someone.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah. You can find out real quick what it feels like. And now you can't tell anybody, did you do this? Take a $20 bill, $100 bill, whatever you could afford, and go give it to somebody. And go give it to a homeless person, give it to a random person, whoever, and don't tell anybody. Acknowledge how that feels. Then go do it again and tell somebody that you just did it. The first one is going to fill you up, your cup up. The second you do it, when you do it the second time and you tell somebody what you did, all of the joy leaves the building. Because now you just got your reward, because your ego, you just filled your ego up with, look what I just did. If you're going to go out and help somebody, do it out of the kindness of your heart, not to decorate your ego with something. Don't just post it on Instagram. Look what I did.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're going to help somebody, do it because you're driven and passionate about helping somebody. Don't do it because
you want the affirmation.
Yeah.
That you're a good person.
Yeah, that's not going to fill your cup up.
Interesting. I love it.
That could be a whole other show.
Yeah, it could. I was just thinking that's probably our next podcast. You thought you're silent giving.
Yeah.
Something. That's awesome. Okay.
All right. So Call it a wrap.
Love talking to you, Mike.
I love talking to you too. This is a good show, man. There's a lot of people out there suffering. I hope that they're able to take something out of this show, some of this information. And, you guys can always reach out to us. The Real SOP.
RealSOP.com.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Sign up.
Yeah, we got email info at therealsop.com. But yeah, send us an email. If you're suffering, we could help you find some help, and you're not alone.
And if there's any topics you want us to discuss, we'd love to. If we can help one person, that's literally our goal.
Yes.
Just helping one person, we know we've done our job.
That sounds like a beautiful day to me.
Love it. Appreciate it.
At the end of the day, system needs soul and leaders need stillness. Ownership starts with you. Show up for your people the way you first show up for yourself. That's the Real SOP. We'll see you next time.